Hello, boys and girls, and happy holidays. It's Greg here from the Scary Spirits podcast. Today, I'm going to show you how to make the Ghost cocktail, which is the featured cocktail in today's episode. All right, I'm going to start with our shaker with ice. To that, we're going to add 1 1/4 ounces vanilla vodka. 1 1/4. Not 1, not 1 1/2. 1 1/4. Next, we're going to add 1/4 ounce, half and half. Next, simple syrup, 1/4 ounce. And finally, one half an ounce white chocolate liqueur. Delicious. Then we shake. Now we're going to strain it into a chilled glass. Calls for a martini glass. I'm going to use this one. Optional, you can use some white chocolate shavings to rim the glass. Don't have that. Yeah. It's good. Very good. The Ghost Cocktail. Hope you enjoy the podcast. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Merry Christmas, everyone. As a special gift, Greg has joined us for a memorable holiday episode preview, and he has no idea what I'm going to ask him.
Hello.
I'm going to start by throwing a bit of trivia at you. Are you ready?
I suppose.
How many ghosts appear in Scrooge, episode number 35 of the Scary Spirits podcast?
I'm going to say 3, Karen.
Think about it, Greg. How many ghosts
4,
total?
Karen. 4.
Can you name them?
Marley's ghost, the ghost of Christmas past, ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas yet to come, Karen. My favorite.
Right. Which ghost I would cast you in to play in my own personal Christmas Carol story?
You're asking me to guess which ghost you would cast me in your Christmas
my own
Carol
personal
play.
Yes. Well, my own personal story.
Oh, okay. That's different.
Yes, it is.
So in your own personal story, I would say the ghost of Christmas past, Karen.
That is right. You're correct. Greg is the ghost of my Christmas past, all full of memories, some I'd like to forget.
Enjoy this week's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast, everyone. And God bless us, everyone.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hi, I'm Karen.
And welcome to this very special holiday episode of the Scary Spirits podcast. The podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm festive. How are you, Greg?
Karen, it's a great time to be alive.
Isn't it always?
Yeah, pretty much any day above ground is better than below, but I'm just feeling especially happy to be alive right now. That's all.
I suspect pre-gaming, but I'll just take it.
More than usual, Karen.
You are always prepared.
Yes. So yesterday was the first day of winter, I see, Karen. Isn't that the winter solstice? Isn't that what that's called?
It is.
So from now on, the days are getting longer?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the shortest day of the year, right?
And the longest
Dr.
night.
Karen.
And the longest night, yes.
Okay.
I don't think you have to be a doctor to know that.
No, I know it. I'm just asking you for verification. So the days are getting longer, so spring is right around the corner. Is that correct, Karen?
Well, we've turned the corner.
Okay.
If you want to look at it that way.
Yeah. The first day of winter is the winter solstice, right?
Yeah, so really it's winter, not spring, but
still, I mean,
semantics.
The days are getting longer now. Every day is just a little bit longer.
Yeah, I like that. Short days are difficult.
No more driving home in the dark.
Leaving in the dark and driving home in the dark.
All right, Karen. Any corrections? I don't think so.
Not that I'm aware of.
Comments on Anna and the Apocalypse?
No, it's just, makes you want to have a talk with your family about your meetup points and your weapons and be prepared.
If you haven't already, yeah.
In case there's a pandemic of some virus or something.
I'm pretty sure my family have already had that meeting. So I think we're good. So, Karen, I believe this was your choice, right?
Yes, it was.
All right, Karen, what film have you chosen for us on this very special Christmas
edition? Yes, the Christmas edition
of the Scary Spirits podcast.
I chose the 1951 movie Scrooge.
Scrooge, you say, from 1951.
Yep.
Why did you choose this film, Karen? Any reason?
Not particularly. It's just nice and special for the holiday edition of the Scary Spirits podcast. And I don't think you ever go wrong watching A Christmas Carol during the holiday season. Gets you right in the holiday spirit, I think.
Or Scrooge in this case.
True. I should have said Scrooge, but it has different names depending on.
It's known as both. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So 1951, Karen. What do you remember from 1951?
Nothing.
Nothing?
What about you?
Well, in 1951, Congress passed the 22nd Amendment. You know what that is, don't you, Dr. Karen?
I thought you meant like in my lifetime that you were making people believe I was born before 1951 and being.
Come on, Karen. Would I do that?
being not very nice in the special holiday edition of the Scary Spirits podcast.
Yes.
I should know the 22nd Amendment because I studied 8th grade social studies last year.
Last year. Oh, yes. That's right. You do have
Yeah.
kids that would have to know that shit, right?
But I can't remember it. So what is it?
22nd Amendment, limiting the presidential term to 2 terms.
Nice. I like that one.
Yeah. Also in 1951, mass production of penicillin reached record highs. It was apparently a big year for penicillin.
Well, that's always helpful.
Also, Dr. Karen, the first oral contraceptive, also known as the pill, was invented.
Wow, that long ago?
Yep, 1951.
I would have guessed the 70s, but
you want to take a guess at what the cost of a gallon of gasoline was in 1951?
You're so mean.
No, just take a guess. I'm just guess.
1951.
Yeah.
18 cents.
Wow. 19 cents, Karen.
Oh, hey, I would have won on the Price is Right because I didn't go
Well,
over.
it depends.
Well, that's true.
Someone could have said 18.9 because that's the way gas prices always are.
True.
Or 0.189. You know what the average family income in 1951 was?
8,200.
Nope. You're about half that.
Oh.
$3,700. Average cost of a new home in 1951, Karen. Would you like to fathom a guess?
$12,000.
Not bad. $9,000. Final question, Karen.
I've missed all of them, haven't I?
No, you got the first one right.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the first one. I never would have got it. Average cost of a new car in 1951.
$895.
About double that.
No, it's going to go.
1,500.
I was going to say 1,000, but I thought I'd go a little lower.
Also in 1951, Karen, the first direct dial coast to coast telephone call was made.
Really?
Yep. It took, I didn't make a note of it, but I believe they said it took 30 seconds for it to connect.
That's
you
hilarious.
dial the number and wait for 20 or 30 seconds, and then it connects across the country.
Because kids now probably wouldn't believe that there was one phone in your house that everybody shared, and you didn't know who was calling, and you just had to pick it up to find out.
Yeah. And in 1951, it may have taken 20 seconds to connect your call. You had to sit there. What were we going to do for 20 seconds, Karen? You didn't have a phone to look at. Well, you could look at it, but it ain't going to do nothing.
Twiddle your thumbs, I guess.
Yeah. So there's some.
That was riveting.
1951 facts, Karen.
If anyone has any other 1951
well, I have
facts.
some more.
Well, I want to do audience participation.
I know.
Stop showing off and let the audience, our one listener, email us at info@scaryspirits.com and tell us if you have any 1951 facts.
Yes, that would be awesome. All right, Karen, might you have a cocktail for this film?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, please go on.
It's called the Ghost Cocktail.
Okay. How do we make it? What do we need?
This is a nice and sweet cocktail. That's what it says.
Okay.
You need 1 1/4 ounces of vanilla vodka, quarter ounce, half and half, quarter ounce simple syrup, and a half an ounce of Godiva white chocolate liqueur, or any white chocolate liqueur. I don't know if only Godiva makes it, but
I used Godiva.
White chocolate shavings for garnish. You want to know how to make it?
Absolutely.
Mix all ingredients in a cocktail shaker with ice. Strain into a chilled martini glass rimmed with white chocolate shavings, which Greg did not do, but I did.
I did not do.
I rimmed the glass in corn syrup, and then I rolled it in the white chocolate shavings.
Fancy.
I know.
I did not. Didn't have any white chocolate, so.
Did you find the simple syrup in the store?
Yes, I did. Several varieties I had to choose from, Karen.
Ooh. All right, go shave your chocolate.
All right. Hold on. And we're back. All right, Karen, might you have a brief synopsis of this film?
I do.
Okay.
See if
Well,
this
please.
sounds familiar to you.
Okay.
An old bitter miser who makes excuses for his uncaring nature learns real compassion when three ghosts visit him on Christmas Eve.
What are you trying to say, Karen?
Know any old bitter misers?
No, I do not.
No? Okay.
No.
You're not a miser. You're
No,
an
I'm
Eeyore.
not a miser.
No. You're more an
That's-
Eeyore than a miser.
Yeah. I may be old and bitter, but not so much
Aren't
a
we all?
miser.
We're all old and bitter.
All right. That synopsis was accurate, I guess.
You guess. Yeah, it's pretty much what happens.
All right, Karen. Are we ready to get into it?
Yeah, I just want to say I have never seen this
I
version.
was just about to ask, Karen, have you
Oh.
ever seen this?
Not this version, no.
Okay.
I've seen the play many times, and I've seen one of the movies, but it was not this one.
Okay.
So, but you said you've seen it.
I watch it every year.
When
And
it comes on TV, or when do you have it on DVD?
I recorded it on my DVR one year, and then I burned it to a DVD. So that's how I watched it today.
Okay.
I have several of them that way. So
Several
I
versions
watched-
of this story.
yes, and I watched Scrooge the other night. Actually, that was on.
Look at you getting in the holiday spirit.
I know, I'm all festive and shit. I know, I get all teary-eyed and sensitive. And
That I'd like to see.
all right, so are we ready?
Yep, let's go.
All right, Karen. Scrooge from 1951, also known in the U.S. as A Christmas Carol. It was Scrooge in the UK and was released in the U.S. as A Christmas Carol, but it's pretty much now just known as Scrooge, I think, because that's
This particular movie, you mean?
yeah, because that's what's in the title when you're doing the credits, right?
True,
It's-
and that's how I searched it on Amazon and found it to watch. So,
But it's kind of funny because I'm assuming we saw the same version, but who knows, right?
mhm.
So the movie starts with a bookcase, right, with a bunch of classic books, and one of them is called A Christmas Carol, and you see the hand pick it, and it opens to the first page, and it says Scrooge. Is that what you saw?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of interesting. So that's how it starts, and then we have credits.
Oh, so you didn't see the opening with Patrick McEnany?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. So you're just skipping that. Okay, because I didn't know who that was. So I didn't know why they did that. Okay, that's fine. He just gets very sentimental about how he and his family watch it every year. And he was one of the actors in the movie. They said I looked him up. He was young Marley. Who's the one? Yeah, Marley's dead as a doorknob. Did I just make all that
Oh
up?
yeah, Patrick Mac. God damn, you're right. I didn't even know that. He didn't mention that. I
No,
don't
he
think.
doesn't say who he is. That's why I just wondered who he was.
Yeah, he was. He was young Marley. God damn, Karen, I've learned something new already.
You learned something already, and we barely started.
I never knew that.
It's just a sentimental beginning. That's all. So, okay, yes, they take the book off the shelf, and then you learn who's in the movie.
Yes. We listened to Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
Yes, we do.
Then we come to stave 1, Karen, which is the only stave in the movie.
I know.
So I
It
don't
is.
know why they had to put that in there.
I don't know either.
But they did, and it is in the book too, because I have it right here. Stave 1, Marley's Ghost. But we see Scrooge at I called it the stock market. I don't know what
Well, when
they
it
call it
starts,
exactly.
there's a narrator,
Yes.
and he says, Old Marley is dead as a doornail.
Well, would you like to know exactly what he says, Karen?
Sure.
Let me read to you from the scriptures.
From stave one.
From stave one, Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. Oh, and then it says, old Marley was as dead as a doornail.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because it made me curious is where does that saying come from? Dead as a doornail. I mean, you can be dead as a lot of things. A doornail is a odd thing to be dead as. And I couldn't really.
Well,
go ahead.
The scripture does go on to talk about that, actually. So, Mr. Dickens, Charles says, mind, I don't mean to say that I know of my knowledge what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of iron monogamy in the trade. But the wisdom of our ancestors is in the smile, and my unhallowed hands shall not disturb it, or the country's done for. You will therefore permit me to repeat emphatically that Marley was as dead as a doornail. So apparently Mr. Dickens struggled with the same thing you did.
Well, yeah. And I did find one thing that makes sense, but I don't know if it's real or not. They said they think it might be because when they used doornails a long time ago, they used them to reinforce the door. And when they would pound it through the wood, they would bend it on the inside so that it obviously wouldn't come out. And they thought, well, after it's bent like that, it's unusable. So it's no longer a live nail. Yeah. It's dead to the people who have to put them indoors.
Yes.
Okay, again, riveting. So moving on.
So Scrooge at the market.
I said, where are they? Is it a bank? What is it? It's a big building. It's fancy, very tall ceilings. But you're right. Maybe it is the stock market.
It's like the stock market. It's where men of business go to trade, sell and trade. And two men ask him if he's leaving early because it's Christmas. But Scrooge says, no, Christmas is a humbug. I'm going to my place of business now to finish the day's work.
Yeah, he hates Christmas. It just slows down everybody's work.
Yes. And as Scrooge is leaving the stock market or whatever the hell it is, a man who owes him money comes up and asks him for a little more time, just a little more time to pay off that debt.
Just a small extension.
Scrooge refuses.
Yeah, and it's snowing like crazy. So basically, Scrooge is mean. They're making that very evident.
And he's walking to his business and he passes carolers begging for change. And Scrooge shoos them away. They're right in front of his business, actually. So Scrooge enters the offices of Scrooge and Marley. And there are men in there waiting for him. And they are collecting money for the poor, Karen. And Scrooge asks if there are no prisons, no union workhouses.
Yeah, he's just a dick. I mean, they're really pouring it on thick here that he is mean and hates Christmas and doesn't care that anyone's poor. So he declines to contribute.
He does. Then his nephew arrives, Fred, to wish him a Merry Christmas. And he invites Scrooge to have dinner with them on Christmas Day, the next day. But apparently Scrooge does not approve of Fred's choice of a wife.
You're right. He doesn't approve of his wife because she's poor.
Yes, well, so is Fred, apparently, he says. But
although this comes back,
dressed pretty nicely.
This comes back a little later. It's incongruent to me, but yeah, they Scrooge doesn't approve because they're poor and they're in love.
Scrooge looks the poorest of all of them with what he's wearing and where he lives and shit, but whatever.
Because he's a miser. Well, his house is huge. But anyway.
So basically, Scrooge tells him it's a humbug and good day, sir. I said good day. And
yes, he good days him. Get out. But
the nephew does wish Bob Cratchit, Scrooge's clerk, as they keep saying, Clark, which is a clerk, right?
Yes.
A Merry Christmas. And he asked about the little lame boy, Tim.
Yeah, he asks about his family.
Next, we see Tim looking at toys in a window, Karen.
The creepiest ass toys. They are very, very creepy. They're animated.
Animated Victorian toys. There was someone credited with those in the credits I read.
They were freaky. They like scary attic toys, you know?
Like toys in the attic in Krampus, Karen.
Yes. Not the Aerosmith kind.
And Tim's mother, Mrs. Cratchit, has purchased a goose at the store next door while Tim looks at the toys.
Have you ever had a goose? Have you ever eaten goose?
I don't think so. I do not. No.
Had it once at my Polish grandmother's house. I didn't really like it. It seemed like it was all dark meat.
I've heard it's very greasy.
Yeah. Like that's what I mean. All fatty.
Yeah.
Dark.
So are you
dark
saying
meat.
that geese are basically crappy animals and should be eliminated from the earth?
No, I just said I'm not going to eat them.
Because I hate geese.
Well,
But yet we
thought you were
protect them for some reason. But whatever. They're nuisances.
she got the biggest goose, she said.
Yes. Next, we go back to Scrooge and Marley's counting house. And Scrooge agrees to give Cratchit the day off for Christmas. But he isn't happy about it. He doesn't like having to give him
the whole
a day off with pay every year.
But the mom and little Tim are bashing Scrooge and saying they make dad work too much. So they don't like him. And he's a dick to Cratchit when he wants time off. Because he says the same thing every year.
Yeah,
you know.
It does.
And then Scrooge leaves grumpy and Cratchit leaves happy.
Scrooge stops at a restaurant or something for dinner.
Yeah, but when he's outside, even the blind man can feel his negativity and runs off.
Scrooge says to the waiter, "Waiter, more bread."
Which is a very Hudson thing to say.
The waiter says, "Well, it'll be," I don't understand English currency, so I don't know what the hell he says, but
it's going to cost you more.
It's going to cost more, basically. And Scrooge says, "No more bread then." So
yeah, he's cheap. Even with himself, he's cheap. He's not like indulging himself. Like you said, he doesn't have fancy clothes. He doesn't have a luxurious house.
No, he's very unkept looking.
He's hoarding the money for, I don't know what, just keeping it. He's not spoiling himself or
his loved ones, but he doesn't have any. So
that makes it easy.
So next, Scrooge walks to his house and we see the door knocker turns into who we learn is Jacob Marley.
Yeah, he sees his face in the door knocker.
Yes.
And then just goes in anyway.
Ooh, scaredy kids.
Well, if your dead partner, they established he's been dead for 7 years.
Yes.
Your dead partner's.
Was it 7? Yeah, maybe it was.
Does it matter how long he's been dead and he shows up on your door knocker?
No, you're right. Go on.
It would freak me out, I think. But he just goes in the house. He does lock the door behind him, but still. I said he's not rattled at all that he just saw a dead man's face in his doorknob.
He is a little rattled. He's a little
later, but not then.
Yeah,
not
he is. As he goes up the stairs and everything. And
because he hears it
Marley,
again. Yeah,
Marley
but at first he's
name.
not. Yeah. Then he gets more freaked out.
Yeah, he locks triple, double, quadruple locks the door and goes up.
He's got like a New York City apartment door with 15 locks on it. On the inside of his house, like where his bedroom is. Is that his bedroom he's going in?
I don't know. It's a big house. He sits by the fire and he's eating, I wrote porridge.
It's gruel. I looked it up. So why he just ate?
I know. I didn't understand that either.
did a time lapse happen that I didn't? Because he's in his bed clothes now.
Yes.
I didn't see him change. Did you?
No.
So I'm guessing there's a time lapse that we kind of missed. But
did you notice the time on the clock?
10:20.
Okay.
So I'm guessing, because he said later that work finishes at 7.
Yes.
So if he ate right after that, he'd probably be home by 8:15. So I guess time has elapsed, because I didn't understand why he was eating again. And where did it come from? The steaming bowl of gruel. It's like he had a microwave.
Probably just keeps it on the fire, ready for him.
I don't know. It was just kind of strange, but it's just, I looked it up because I didn't know what gruel was. And
I was going to say, what the hell is gruel, Karen? Dr.
It's basically a liquid. I looked it up. A liquid food of oatmeal boiled
hang
in.
on. Liquid food.
It's watery porridge.
Oh, so I was right. Not that I knew what porridge was. I just wrote it down. So it's water and oatmeal, and
I think it can be made from just about any. Oatmeal is specifically made with oats, but this could be made with barley, or I think lots of things. It's
barley.
Well, I don't know.
Barley and hops and yeast.
It just sounds pretty gross.
Okay.
I don't know why you'd want to eat it on purpose.
I don't either. And then he hears bells ringing, but we don't see any bells ringing because they show shots of the bells, because he has a bell next to him. There's a doorbell, like a literal bell, but he hears them ringing, but none of them are ringing.
Right.
And then we hear what sounds like chains coming up the stairs.
Chains being dragged, yes.
And the door flies open and Marley enters.
Scrooge is shook.
He is shook.
I mean, he's freaked, as you would be, see your ex-partner who's been dead for a while dragging chains behind him in your room.
Yes. Apparently this is Christmas Eve, 1843. I didn't know that, but 1843 is when it takes place. And Scrooge says it's a humbug.
He kind of doesn't believe it. He thinks he's in a dream.
There's more of gravy than the grave about you. He thinks it's something he ate, right?
Yes, or it's a dream. He thinks that, yes, he's dreaming.
And Marley gets angry and screams. And that really shakes Ebenezer.
Yeah, because he says, okay, I believe.
And Marley tells him of the chain that he wears, that he made it in his life, link by link.
Is it all his dickiness that he's dragging around? Is that what it is?
Yes, pretty much.
Ooh, okay. I didn't really understand
what
it was.
And he says, tell Scrooge that his was as long as, or as big as his 7 years ago. So you're right. Yeah, it was 7 years. Marley's been dead. I do remember him saying that. And he has worked on it since. So it's a massive chain, Karen, that Scrooge bears.
Don't we all?
Speak for yourself, Karen.
Mm-hmm. You're going to need like bridesmaids with yours.
Bridesmaids
helping with the veil.
To carry the train.
The train.
Train.
So you'll have your minions. Helping.
Yes. Marley tells Scrooge that he will be visited by 3 ghosts that evening.
Well, before he tells him that, he says he's there to warn him that he's going in the wrong direction. He's doing things wrong. And then he says what's going to happen.
He says, expect the first one when the bell tolls 1, Karen.
Yeah. And if he doesn't change, he's going to be on the same path as Marley, who I guess is just destined to drag chains around everywhere. Yep.
Walk the earth, dragging his chains around. Then Marley shows Scrooge the spirits outside his window, huddled around a homeless woman and a child.
In the snow. And they're lamenting. That's all I could tell.
Yeah, because they can't do anything now. But
right.
They should have done something in life.
Yeah.
Is the whole point, right? So Scrooge goes to bed and hides under the covers.
And he closes the curtains. So he's got one of those cool beds that has curtains all around it. I guess it's a 4-poster bed, and he can close the curtains, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yes. Then the bell tolls one,
And the curtains open.
and we see the ghost of Christmas past.
His past.
Yes, his past.
Ebenezer's past.
And he's kind of an old dude in a toga or some shit, right?
Yeah,
Ghost.
yeah.
Because originally it's pretty much just a ball of light in the book.
Well, it starts off with a ball of light because I said there's an orb of light, and then it kind of transfers into
Right.
the ghost.
But it does, I think it has like a horn or something.
Like a horn on its head, or like a horn like a trumpet?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like a child, I guess. It's a strange figure, like a child, yet not like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man, viewed through some supernatural medium.
So like a spry old man?
His hair was white as if with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle on it.
Like you. Except your hair's not really gray, so.
Very shiny, and wore a tunic of the purest white, and round its waist was bound a lustrous belt, the sheen of which was beautiful. It held a branch of fresh green holly in its hand.
Oh, I think that's what the necklace was that he had on, was holly, or like a garland of holly.
But the strangest thing about it was that from the crown of its head there sprung a bright clear jet of light, by which all this was visible. But we go to Scrooge's old school, where he was a boy and went to school, boarding school or some shit, right, Karen?
Yeah, so the ghost says, "Take my hand," and they fly out the window, basically. And every time they do a time hop, they show a
Hourglass.
hourglass. I was struggling for that earlier, and I found it, and then I couldn't say it again. Yes, they show an hourglass to show that they're time hopping. So yeah, it looks like a boarding school where he doesn't have a whole lot of friends because he's left alone.
Yeah, all the other kids are going back home for the holidays. He's left there alone. But his sister Fan comes to visit.
I could not understand what they were saying, whether it was Fan or Fern
Fan.
or
It's Fan.
I know. I couldn't figure it out.
And she's come to bring Ebenezer home. Apparently, Ebenezer's father doesn't really like him.
His father is nicer now, so he's allowed to come back home. He never needs to be lonely again.
And in this story, as in others, there's this whole theme of Ebenezer's mother dying while giving birth to him, and the same theme of Fan dying, giving birth to Fred, right?
Yeah, that happens here. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not in the original story at all.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's
But
just in the movie.
it is a very popular thing in the movies. Yeah.
Interesting.
So basically, that's what we're told, right?
Well, he says the sister is delicate, and then says died giving birth to his nephew, as his mom did giving birth to him.
Right.
That's why his father doesn't like him.
Correct.
And then there's a time jump.
So, but just looking at Fan and Ebenezer, do you think Fan is older or younger than Ebenezer?
Well, she has to be older.
She has to be, but does she look older? That's my question.
No.
Right. So that's a thing too. So,
but he's had a rougher life.
Fan always seems younger than Ebenezer, even though his mother supposedly died giving birth to him in all the movies that use that story, but whatever.
Okay.
So next we cut to Fezziwigs, old Fezziwigs.
Everybody's dancing.
Yep, dancing.
I thought they were at a pub, but they're at a house or a place. Where are they?
They're at the place of business.
Okay.
Their warehouse, Fezziwigs warehouse. Every Christmas he has a big Christmas party for the staff and whatever, right?
Yeah, and Scrooge talks about how he just did a lot of the little things to make everyone happy. Wasn't a lot of money or anything, but he was always encouraging and supportive and good to them.
And we see Scrooge and Alice in the corner.
Well, the ghost says, "Turn to see Ebenezer in love."
Turn to see yourself in love, Ebenezer. And basically, Ebenezer gives Alice a ring, and They make some promise to each other that,
they're going to love each other forever.
they're going to go steady.
Yep. And it's okay. They both are happy being poor.
Yeah.
And they kiss.
Yeah. Next, we see someone trying to get Fezziwig to sell his business, right?
Yeah, I think it's
Mr. Jorkin.
Is it the Industrial Revolution or something that, because he says machines are coming and
Yes.
Fezziwig doesn't, he said he just wants to employ humans as long as possible, but
Right.
progress is coming.
And
he offers
as we
a
know,
job.
Karen,
Yeah.
progress has no patience.
Okay. Profound.
Next, we cut to another Christmas in the past, and we see Fan on her deathbed. Apparently, she has just given birth to Fred.
Yeah, and Ebenezer, he's devastated.
He is. Fran says, "Promise me," and then she stops. We hear a baby cry, and Ebenezer says, "You can't die. You can't die, Fan. You're going to get better. You can't die." And he gets up and storms out.
Yeah, but then we see the end where she does admit to what promise she wants.
Yes. She says, "Promise me you'll take care of my boy."
Which he doesn't.
And I wrote, "She gone."
Yep.
Yeah.
And Ebenezer's crying and asks Fan to forgive him.
Yes.
While he's watching with.
You never knew. It wasn't his fault. He didn't know.
Old Ebenezer is crying, not Ebenezer he was probably crying too in the room. So they're both crying, but.
No, young Ebenezer was angry.
He was, but still.
It wasn't his fault. He didn't know.
Well, but he should have done it anyway. You shouldn't have to be asked to do that kind of thing, but whatever.
So next we see Scrooge. I guess he quits Fezziwig's and gets a job with Mr. Jorkin. And there he meets Jacob Marley.
Yeah.
They're
working.
They are clerks together.
They're office mates, cubicle mates.
And see Fezziwig goes out of business.
Well, wait, Ebenezer, we should just note, has a new attitude. He's just cold-hearted now. He is
There's a song in there somewhere. In there. Got a new attitude.
He's a cold-hearted snake. We could do a mashup. But it's just
I don't know that one.
He's very angry and he just thinks life sucks because of his sister. So he's very affected and he's just done, not letting anybody get close anymore.
So then Fezziwig goes out of business. I guess he's bought out by this Mr. Jorkin's whatever company, Mr. Jorkin's firm.
Well, you knew they were going to go out of business because he wasn't ready to modernize.
Then we have the scene with Ebenezer and Alice. And Alice breaks off the engagement.
Yeah, because he has a new love and it's not her. It's cash dollars.
Dollar bill.
Money has replaced her in his heart.
A golden idol has replaced her.
Ebenezer's just afraid to love anyone now because of his loss, I think. He just can't deal with that pain again.
Alice gives back his ring and says, "I release you."
Yeah, you don't have to stand by your promise anymore. And he leaves and then Alice cries.
Next, we cut to another Christmas in the past, and apparently there's been some funny business at the firm, and Mr. Jorkin has embezzled a bunch of money.
He's doing good time Charlie's.
So the company is now pretty much bankrupt.
Yeah, I think they said they had $3,000 in debt and they had $11.
Yeah, well, 11
like that.
Something. I don't know. Whatever.
It was
pounds,
bad.
Shillings, pence. I don't know. I don't understand all that foreign currency. But yeah, you can tell it was bad. So they're like talking about bringing that guy up on charges, and they were saying, "Oh well." And of course, Mr. Jorkin says, "Well, what do you think that will happen at the stockholders meeting? And when they found out all this stuff, and the business will be bankrupt, gone, no more."
Well, and he acted like it would cause some sort of panic.
Yeah.
So I don't know what business they're in. It just seems like all they do is count money, but I don't know. But it sounds like if this business goes under, there's going to be major repercussions.
So Scrooge and Marley agree to make good on the money that this Mr. Jorkin had embezzled. And in exchange, they would like the option to purchase up to 51% of the stock in the company.
It's basically a hostile takeover.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well, but the other two, the two people, the debt collectors at first don't want to do it.
Well, no, they don't. Because
Jorkin doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. In other words, he says, yes, they will save the company, but in turn, they become the company.
Right.
Which is fine with him.
It's a takeover. Okay. It doesn't have to be hostile, but it's definitely a takeover.
Yeah.
They've got the company now.
They should take it. And apparently they do.
They do.
So good for them. Next, we see another Christmas, Karen. And Mr. Marley's housekeeper comes to get Mr. Scrooge at the offices of Scrooge and Marley. Apparently, Mr. Marley is on his deathbed, but Scrooge says he will go when the office closes at 7. And it's about 5 o'clock now, right?
Cold.
He has work to do. He will go when the office closes.
You gonna come and see me when I'm on my deathbed, or are you gonna wait until the office closes?
No, depends on
I might have something.
Well, number one, my office doesn't close at 7. That's just crazy talk. And I get off at 4. So office closes at 5. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
But I might have something profound to tell you.
Profound to tell me that?
I don't know. I'm on my deathbed. I might have some profoundness to tell you.
Like, promise me.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I won't have to have anything profound to say to you. Wait a minute. Check you off my list of who's going to show up. If I'm on my deathbed, better not be a weekend.
Oh, yeah, if it's a weekend. Unless there's thirsty work to do in the yard.
Right. Or a good game's on, or God, all these, Wow. Okay. Let's go. What's next? This could be our last podcast, people.
Next, we see Scrooge agreeing to give Cratchit the day off again. In the past, and he says every year you say the same thing, and pretty much that's what happens, right? Because
when Scrooge goes to Marley's house, it's Scrooge's house. So he took Marley's house?
Yes.
Okay. Because it looked exactly the same.
Yeah, so he goes to go see Marley at his house. He agrees to give Cratchit the day off, and then he goes to Marley's house.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were time jumping again. But that's Scrooge's house. When Scrooge is woken up by the ghosts and everything.
Yes.
He's taken Marley's house after Marley died, I guess.
And that's one of the things that the ghost shows Scrooge next. After he goes see Marley.
It just looked like the same place to be.
It is.
I know,
exactly the same place.
At the time, I thought, wow, they're being cheap.
Nothing has changed. The furnishings are all the same and everything.
It is exactly the same. Yes.
Even the housekeeper is still the same lady, right?
Looking a little worse for wear, but yeah.
Scrooge goes to Marley's house. There's the housekeeper and a guy waiting, and Scrooge says, "Are you the doctor?" And he says, "No, the undertaker."
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, you don't let grass grow under your feet, do you?" Or something like that. And he says, "Mine is a very competitive business." So Scrooge visits Marley, and Marley tells Scrooge, "We were wrong." Warns him to save himself, and then he gone.
Yep. We were wrong. Save yourself. Dead.
Yep. And Scrooge took all Marley's money and his house.
Yeah, so I guess Marley didn't have any friends or relatives.
Everything went
either.
to Scrooge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's why I have a question. Scrooge is in bed again, and the clock bells strike, right?
Yeah, were there like 4?
Well, that's why I said there's like bong, 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 or whatever, 4 times, but then there's one bong, which is the same bong we heard earlier, right? So it sounds to me like it strikes 1 again.
Oh, I don't know.
And this is the only time I ever paid attention because I was making notes. even though I've seen this like every year for the last 20 years. but, but it seems like I couldn't tell if there were 4 bells or 1.
I thought there were 4, but
Well, there were 4 bing bongs, and then there was 1 bong.
what good is the bing bong?
I don't know. But it comes up later. I made a note later too. So anyway, there was 1 bong, 1 like major bell.
Okay.
And we see the ghost of Christmas present. And Scrooge tells him that he is too old and beyond hope.
Yeah, go redeem someone younger, he says.
Yeah. And I should make a note here too that we spend a lot of time with the ghost of Christmas past.
We do.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like half the movie is with the ghost of Christmas past.
Yep.
Okay. So now we have the ghost of Christmas present. And he takes them to see some miners singing carols for a few seconds. Right?
Well, I think he's trying to tell them that even people who are miserable can be happy at Christmas. Is my guess.
Yeah, whatever. Then we go to Bob Cratchit's house. And Martha hides.
What? Where was she supposed to be gone somewhere?
Well, she works. She's like a
But
seamstress.
does she not live with them?
I don't know if she does or not.
Seemed like she didn't.
No.
I thought at first she was off at school.
She's like a seamstress,
no.
like probably living in some like tenement house or whatever with a bunch of other women. And
so they're at the Cratchit house. Martha hides.
And they talk about Tim.
He's sickly and crippled.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the pudding and the goose. And God blesses everyone.
And they have dinner. And he says they have gin punch.
Karen. No, I didn't notice that.
Karen, I was counting on you to tell me what gin punch was.
Well, when I was looking up drinks, a lot of it, what the punch is usually is mulled wine or some version of mulled wine that may have gin or something in it. But
he calls it gin punch. I don't know what the hell it is.
It involves wine.
Okay. Not gin?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know. Because he's giving it to his kids. I don't know. So they toast to Peter, their son's new job. And they give him like how much he's going to make. It meant nothing to me once again, because I don't know how that currency works. So it could have been $1 an hour for all I know. I don't know.
It was pretty low.
Or 50 cents an hour. I don't know. Couldn't tell.
All right. So here's what you'll need for gin punch.
Ooh, gin punch.
3 teacups of gin, 3 teacups of Madeira wine, 3 cloves, pinch of grated nutmeg, teaspoon of cinnamon powder, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, 6 large lemon and orange twists, small slice of orange.
6 large lemons or 6
the
juice of 6 large lemons from the plastic lemons.
6 large lemon and orange twists. So it's the peels. Small slice of orange, 1 fresh pineapple, and 4 large spoons of honey, right, and the juice of 2 lemons.
So we do need juice from lemons, from the plastic lemon.
And then you put it all in a saucepan and place it on heat and let it simmer for 20 to 30 minutes. So it's kind of mulled wine with gin in it.
Mulled wine?
Yeah. Do you know what mulled wine is?
M-O-L-D?
M-U-L-L-E-D.
M-U-L-L-E-D. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's wine with spices cooked over the stove.
Okay.
Kind of do the same. You can do it with apple cider. A lot of people do that. It's warm apple cider with extra spices in it.
Okay. Gin punch.
You can buy them together. They're mulling spices. You put them in the little bag. It's kind of like tea. It's in a bag and
like a sachet.
And you throw it in there and it seeps.
Yes. And they toast to Peter's new job and to Mr. Scrooge, I don't know if they say it in this version, but the founder of the feast.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Cratchit does. The rest of the family groans, but they eventually do toast to his health.
Yes. Next, we go to nephew's Fred's house. And they are also toasting Scrooge. For someone no one likes, he seems to get toasted a lot.
Maybe they keep hoping he's going to give them some cash dollars.
Yeah. Well,
But
maybe.
they're dancing at the nephews.
Yes, they dance.
So.
And they dance. Next, we cut to see Alice taking care of the poor, Karen.
Yeah, where is she?
I don't know.
There's a priest there, so I'm wondering if it's some sort of church place or something.
Yeah, it must be. Alice is seen working in a poorhouse. Yeah. Where she lovingly ministers the sick on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, so there's a contrast. She's a good person and Scrooge is a terrible person.
So next, the ghost of Christmas present, who should say looks like, what'd you call him earlier? Bacchus?
Bacchus.
Yeah. He always looks the same in every
he's jolly.
Even in the book, I think that's what he is too. So, but
he's like Santa Claus, but like 70s disco Santa Claus with the open jacket, and he's laughing and he's having a good time. That's how Bacchus is always portrayed.
He only lives for 1 year. He's 365 and then he's gone.
Party time. He's the epitome of good time Charlie's.
But he does say that his time is almost up, and he says, if you remember nothing, remember this. And he opens up his cloak. Two children there, right?
That sounds terrible.
I know, but that's what he does. And there's two children at his feet, a little boy and a little girl, and he says,
the boy is ignorance
and the girl is want.
Yeah.
Beware them both,
but beware the boy more.
The most. Yes.
Yeah.
Ignorance, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Scrooge asks, are they yours? And Spirit says, no, they are man's.
And Ebenezer, he still can't promise to change at this point. He's still doing the I'm too old, it's too late, whatever deal.
Then we don't even cut back to Scrooge in his bed this time, but we hear one bong again, right? One bong.
So maybe they are all at 1 o'clock. I don't know.
That's what it seems like to me. That's the first time I realized that. But we see the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
Well, all we see is a pale hand.
Well, yeah. And this is not my favorite ghost of the Christmas yet to come in the films. So
because what? It's not
it's just a
creepy
hand.
enough.
No, yeah.
Well, it's all dressed in black in a minute, but the first thing you see
it is. And they all are, but some of them it's a skeleton.
Yeah, that you're right. It is. Yeah.
And we go back to Bob Cratchit's house. And Karen, everyone is sad.
Yep. And the brothers, I think, is reading from the Bible.
And we see Tiny Tim's stool and crutch
sitting
by the fire. Yeah. Then Bob Cratchit comes home and they talk about where Tim will be buried.
So he must have just died.
Yeah.
Right?
In some versions, he is upstairs.
Oh,
dead in the bed right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In the house. Kept him in the house until there's someplace to bury him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what they did in those days. Maybe not. I'm sure they, laid him out for a few days for people to visit and pay their respects. Maybe do some photography, Karen. You know what I mean?
You're gonna some praying, but okay.
No, some post-mortem photography, that's what they did in those days because they couldn't afford to get pictures taken all the time, and there was lots of post-mortem photographs taken.
Yeah,
because it was the only way. That was the only time they're going to have an image of their kid to look back on, right?
But Cratchit comes home and says he felt his presence, and he said he felt him hold his hand. And then they all cry.
Yes. It's a very nice gravesite, apparently, under a tree or some shit. I don't know.
Yes.
So next we go to Joe's place, Karen.
Joe's place? Oh, because the servants are there?
Yeah. The laundry woman, the housekeeper, and the undertaker all arrive at the same time at Joe's place. And I guess
I didn't know where they were, but they're selling stolen stuff.
Yeah. Well,
it's stolen from, I don't know who he's going to leave everything to, but they took stuff from a dead man.
Yes.
They say he died alone. But when the housekeeper, I think, took the curtains off the bed, Someone else took his nightgown that he was wearing.
Yeah, his
And
best
the
one. It was his
and his
best one.
linen-
They'd have buried
his-
him in it.
and his linens.
Bed
And
curtains.
yeah, I didn't know where they were. I thought it was the laundry, like the old-fashioned laundromat, but he's buying stuff off of them.
It's like a pawn shop kind of thing, right? I guess. In a way.
Yep, a back in the day pawn shop, a resale consignment center.
Kind of off the beaten path, I would say.
Well, they're selling stolen goods,
I suppose.
fencing it, right? Is that what you-
Yes. But I guess the laundry lady. Well, first the Undertaker goes first, and it's basically, a pen case, pocket watch, so on and so forth.
Yeah, he stole stuff from him,
Yeah.
from like his bedside table or something.
And the laundry lady goes next. It's a sheet. No, it's not a sheet.
Yeah, she has his sheets
Okay.
and his nightgown.
The laundry lady does? No, she does not have his nightgown.
I thought
Cleaning
she
lady
did. I thought the cleaning lady just took the curtains and that
is
was
his
it.
curtains, his wool blanket, and his best nightgown.
Oh,
Because
okay.
she took it off him. She took all of that shit off while he was laying there and put on an older, holier maybe nightgown on him to be buried in.
Moth-eaten, not a moth-eaten one, not a
Whatever.
holy one, meaning
Oh, the laundry lady, I think, has boots and stuff too, right? Shoes and everything in his bag. And he gives
they
them
just
each
stole
money.
his stuff. It doesn't
Yeah, I
matter what
know.
it was.
But I would have liked to known who got the most. But I didn't know because
Sounded like the Undertaker.
You think? None of them were very happy with what they got. I don't think. They're all kind of upset.
But they don't feel bad about their take because he treated them poorly and didn't pay them very much. So they feel justified in their
And he didn't have anyone to leave it to anyway. So
right. Well, he had his nephew. So
doesn't mean he did.
no, I'm not saying he did either, but I'm saying they don't feel bad at all.
Next, we cut to the cemetery.
Well, the bank or the stock
Oh, yeah. The
marketplace
exchange, stock exchange. Yep. And men are talking about a death, but we don't really know whose death.
and they say they're not going to show up unless there's
Yeah,
lunch.
unless there's food served, they're not going. I must be fed, one says.
Yeah. And then they go to the cemetery.
And Scrooge says, "Where am I? I should be sitting over there. That is my usual spot."
Right. He notices he's missing.
Yes. But then we go to the cemetery. And this is where Scrooge says, "Are these things that must be or things that might be?"
Yeah, I thought that was a cool line.
And then we see Ebenezer's tombstone. And he falls down upon it because it's like one of those flat on the ground stones.
They didn't spend a lot on his tombstone.
And Scrooge says, "I'm not the man I was." Next, we see Scrooge in bed, clawing at his bedpost as he was at the ghost of Christmas past feet, basically. And there's knocking at the door.
Yeah, which wakes him up. And the maid brings his breakfast tea, it looks like. And he's making her work on Christmas because she tells him it's Christmas.
Mrs. Dilber. And he asked, what day it is. And she says, Christmas Day. And of course, she thinks he's gone mad.
Well, he's acting cray-cray. I mean, he's giggling, he's giddy, which dancing.
If I was doing that stuff, Karen, would you think I'd gone mad? Really?
Yes. And she wigs out. I mean, he's like trying to do a headstand and on a chair. He's just.
He's overcome with joy, Karen.
He's very giddy. And then he gives her some extra cash for Christmas present.
And then he raises her salary.
Yes, he does.
Like
doubles it.
More than doubles.
No, yeah. It goes from 2 to 10 or something.
Yeah. Whatever. 10, whatever they are, shillings. I don't know what they are. He said, I don't understand.
And then tells her to go home for the day. So and she runs out the door because don't have to tell her twice.
That's right. Then Scrooge runs to the window and yells to a boy. He asked if the prize turkey is still at the butcher shop around the corner. And he says, yeah. And he says, well, go purchase it. And he's like, yeah, right. Whatever. He's like, no, go bring the butcher here with the turkey and I'll give you a whatever. half a crown. I don't know. What's a shilling? What's half a crown? What's a crown? I don't know.
I don't know, but he wants him to bring the butcher with the turkey because he's going to send it to the Cratchit's house.
Cratchit. Next, we cut to nephew Fred's house.
Well, we do see that it gets sent to Cratchit's house.
That's true.
And Tim does say, I think Scrooge sent it. And everybody's
Mr.
like,
Scrooge sent it.
Why? Why would he send that? I just know he did. Yeah. Then he goes to the nephew's house. And here's where I say, how poor are these people?
I know, right?
Because he gets to the door. There's a servant.
A maid.
Dressed. Yes, that's a servant.
A young maid. I'm a young maiden.
But she takes his coat and hat. You know, they're dancing. It's a fancy house. It has an upstairs. Yes. I mean, you know.
I know. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand how they're so poor.
Because their house is 10 times nicer than his house.
Yeah, but he probably has 10 times the money they do, but nothing to show for it. So Scrooge goes in and, Uncle Scrooge.
He welcomes him.
Yes. Is it too late to accept your dinner invitation? Of course not. And he apologizes to the wife.
Asks for forgiveness.
Can you forgive an old man with eyes not to see or ears not to hear and whatever? Been blind all these years. Blah, blah, blah. And she goes and embraces him and gives him a kiss and calls him uncle.
And then what do?
They do a polka.
They do a polka.
I should have known that'd be your favorite part.
My mom and dad could do a mean polka. They'd clear the dance floor, everybody would just step back and get out of the way. But that just reminded me, do you remember that commercial? It was a crowded bar. I think it was a beer commercial.
Miller Lite.
And it was a crowded bar. So someone goes to the jukebox and puts on a polka and everybody leaves so they can get a beer at the bar. It was very popular. I don't know, 15 or 20 years ago, maybe longer. I don't know. But the funny part about
How old do you think I am, Karen?
But the funny part about it is, so the whole bar clears out and these people go up and get a beer. And my mom, we finally were watching it together, and she thought that when they put on the polka, everybody went to the dance floor instead of leaving the bar. And I said, no, Mom, the joke is that everybody left the bar because it's polka music now. She goes, oh, I thought everybody went to the dance floor. No, she liked a good polka. I tried to learn it once. I was terrible. Anyway, okay, so they dance a polka. And then the next morning,
Bob Cratchit arrives late for work.
Yeah, Scrooge is already there, being giddy.
Yes, but trying not to be.
Right. Trying to fool Cratchit.
He begins to scold Cratchit for being late, and he says, Cratchit, you give me no alternative but to raise your salary.
He sounds crazy.
Yeah, like of course, you know.
He says, but I've come to my senses.
He says he wants to help him raise his family and Tiny Tim and blah, blah, blah. Then the narrator cuts in.
Yeah.
And says that Scrooge was a man of his word and he became a second father to Tim. And
you sound so disappointed.
It was said that no one kept Christmas like Scrooge, and he kept it all year long. And
well, the
God
weird thing
bless
is,
us, everyone. Credits.
Well, okay, but before that, it said Scrooge became a second father to Tim, and you see them together, and Tim's running around, and and so I thought, what is his affliction? Because he's dying, and then Scrooge just steps in and he's fine. Well, I looked it up, and the best that they can come up with is the guesses are that he had TB and rickets and possibly polio, all of which you can recover from with proper nutrition. So if he had rickets, he was just not getting proper nutrition, which could be fixed with money. TB also with proper
But no one
care.
else in the family had rickets. They were all eating the same shit.
Well, maybe he was a picky eater.
Oh, that's on him.
I don't know what they were, I guess you can get it whenever because sailors would get it. But I was wondering if as they grew larger as a family, there was less and less to eat.
And he
So
was the youngest, so he
got, he didn't get
he was the runt.
kinda. He didn't get the good nutrition that the other kids got, I don't know. So
Maybe.
The things that the interweb said are recoverable with help. So
Okay. Well, good for Tim.
yep.
All right, Karen. Anything you were pleasantly surprised by in Scrooge from 1951?
What's the actor's name who played Scrooge?
Alastair Sim.
I thought he was very good.
I thought all the acting was very good, actually.
I agree, but he was...
Most times, Tiny Tims are fucking annoying, but this is probably the least annoying, I think.
I just thought that I was pleasantly surprised by you believed him that he was miserable, and you could see the transformation. He went a little far with the giddiness, kind of made me uncomfortable a little bit. I could see why the maid screamed and ran, but he did a full range of emotions. And you kind of believed he changed by the end, He is
probably the best miser Scrooge, I would say. You know what I mean?
I just thought he showed the transformation well. He didn't have a whole lot of time. They spent a lot of time on him being a miser and establishing that, and then doing the Christmas past where he was unhappy. And so there wasn't a whole lot of time where he was happy Scrooge, but I thought he was good. I liked him. He carried them, the whole movie is about him. And he carried it well. Yep. I thought.
Agreed. Anything you were very disappointed in?
Not really, but I did wonder why they didn't explain where Alice was. He comes back and he's with the Cratchits and all that. Why didn't he go find Alice so he could be happy together? I just thought it was a loose end. That's all. I just thought, would have been nice to wrap that up, and it could have been done pretty easily.
I'm pretty sure they don't visit Alice in the book after
they don't see her at the poorhouse.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Could be.
I just thought it was a loose end in the movie that could have been wrapped up nicely, but she's probably married to someone else.
Okay, so the character is named Belle in the book and actually becomes happily married mother of several children. So she's happily married and has several kids in the book.
Okay, but that's not what the movie showed me. No, so
but
I'm fine with that. I just thought they could have wrapped it up since they visited her as part of the Christmas present. Then
past and present, right? So
so you'd think
they'd include her in the future, but maybe they didn't want to show her happier than with them married with kids and very happy that Scrooge.
Well, they didn't have to. You have,
was gone.
Poetic license, so it's not a big deal at all. I just thought they were wrapping everything up so neatly. I just wondered. I wrote in my notes, "Where's Alice?" Just interested. So, what about you? Anything you really liked?
Well, I like Alice Sim as Scrooge, just as you do. Don't care much for the Ghost of Christmas Future.
No, I liked it.
There are better ones.
Sure.
I'd rather see like skeletons or more like death.
You wanted Froggy's Fog.
I wanted a sickle and all that shit.
The whole thing.
Yes. It's death, right?
Yeah. He doesn't speak. He just points to the grave.
That's correct.
Which I've always thought was very poignant. It always, I think, gets to me more than anything else. I mean, your past is your past, they can take you back. Can't do nothing
about it.
Right. And show you what a dick you are, whatever. Okay. And the present.
What are you trying to say, Karen?
That everyone has their moments.
Okay.
That the Christmas past could take you to that you wouldn't be proud of. And they show you those things, but there are many things in your past that you were good, you were nice. They don't show you those things. They're only showing you the crappy things, which are far fewer for most people than the nicer things. And the present is the present. So, the future is death. It's not like you escape that.
Speak for yourself, Karen.
At some point, you're going to, well, maybe not you. Well, then you're just going to haunt everybody.
Yeah. I've pretty much seen them all.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
There's parts that others do better. As a whole, this one's probably the best, I think.
Well, and considering they don't have the special effects or the ability to, if it was a skeleton.
Kind of wondering why it wasn't in color to begin with, because it's 1951.
Mine was in color.
Well, it wasn't originally in color. You watched the colorized version.
No, but they kind of made the ghosts transparent. I mean, they tried. It wasn't just a person standing there.
Yeah, mine was in black and white. The one I watched.
So they differentiated between the ghost and the human beings.
So, Karen, what did we learn today?
Because I'm pissed because I learned you're not coming to see me on my deathbed. if it's at an inconvenient time for you. That and what gruel was.
Is that what you're going to say, really?
Yeah, that is what I'm going to say. Okay. That's a revelation to me.
Oh, Karen.
That's going to be
you
one
live
of your...
so far away.
I know. That's going to be one of your Christmas past ghosts going to take you to. It's going to take you to this podcast when you said you wouldn't come and visit me unless it was a convenient time for you. And the ghost is going to bring you to this moment. Hello, Christmas past ghost. Well, we learned that and what gruel was. And what else? You said you learned something right at the beginning. Oh, who the actor was.
Yeah, that was the actor who played young Scrooge or young Marley.
So that's pretty good. Yeah. From you haven't
and
seen
gin
this
punch.
So many times.
I didn't know what gin punch was.
Yeah.
You taught me what gin punch was.
So of all the times you've seen it, you've actually learned something from it.
I made a note that there was only one bong every time a ghost came.
So at least not the 24 bongs, or what was it before?
I don't know. It was way too many. Way too many bongs. One bong. One bong every hour. Yeah, I can handle that.
One bong is sufficient.
Every hour. Yeah.
Okay.
One bong an hour, Karen. Is
that the standard rate?
That's what I go by.
Okay.
All right, Karen, is that all we've learned?
Yes, I think so.
So let's summarize. What have we learned?
No, not summarizing it anymore. Not talking about it anymore. You can beg my forgiveness after the Christmas past ghost brings you here. And I'll see if I'll forgive you.
Well, or I'll be there and I'll say, see?
See what?
See, I'm here. When you're on your deathbed, if I come in and say, see, now what?
Are you happy now? Is this what you wanted? This is very inconvenient for me, but I'm here.
Right.
Yes, that's what I want.
Okay. All right. Anything else we learned?
No, that's enough.
That is enough. It's giving me a headache.
Oh, the responsibility of having to show up at someone's deathbed.
Well, shit, I may go first, Karen. You don't know.
God damn it. Now I have it now it's on my list. Now I have to do it.
Even though you're way older, I may go first. You never know.
Well, I don't. A bong an hour. Maybe you would go first. Possible.
All right. So what kind of cocktail rating we giving this film? How many cocktails did it take you to get through it, Karen?
I think it's a solid 3.
3?
Yeah, it was pretty standard. I know that it's not horror, and I realized that when I picked it.
It's a ghost story, though.
But it has ghosts in it, and it's a feel-good movie to watch right before Christmas. People
are scared straight.
Just to get some.
It's a vengeful ghost movie, almost, right?
Yeah. You feel good after you watch it. That there's hope for us old misers. Us old bitter misers, there's still hope for us to get some Christmas spirit. So there you go.
All right. What do you have big plans for Christmas, Karen?
Well, we do a Christmas Eve traditional stuff. with the pierogi and all that. It's all food I don't like. It's fish and stuff, but mushroom soup, fish. We do wafers.
I
As
was going to say, I guess we won't be doing wafers.
Well, we'll do wafers at some point.
At some point, like 20 years from now, when there's no longer a fucking pandemic.
No, after I get boosted.
All right.
You're not getting out of that. The wafers, it's just a Polish tradition where you wish people nice wishes for the upcoming year. And you usually do it on Christmas Eve. And I have forced Greg and his wonderful wife, Jamie, to do it with me over the past several years.
And my son, I think.
Yeah, point. John's done it too. It's not a bad thing to do. It's nice. But you have to come up with 3 nice things to say.
Yeah,
and that can be a struggle for Greg.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. In our house.
And try not to like, copy. So I have to try to come up with something original. That's the hard part.
In our house, with my family, it's usually 2 nice ones and something sarcastic.
Oh, I didn't know
that's
that.
Who we are. Oh, get a lot of wishes for patience. Tolerance.
Right. I'll remember that. That's good.
But I'd like to steal one of my nieces when she was very young, because we make even the little kids do it. So when one of my oldest nieces was very young, she wished my dad a long sleeve shirt because he was wearing short sleeves and it was cold. But my niece Sam, when she was young, she wished that you usually wish health and wealth and happiness. If you can't think of anything else, those are great ones to do because those are excellent. But she wished me health and wealth. And then she wished me fun, which I thought was an excellent wish. And I've used that many times because you should have fun. You sometimes forget, like Scrooge, you need to have some fun.
I suppose.
That's why I'm in your life, Greg. I bring the fun.
All right, Karen, next movie.
That would be your choice.
Is that my choice? Really?
Yeah, do you have one with a New Year's Eve theme?
Oh, funny you should ask, Karen. I do. I have chosen the 1980 film Terror Train.
Never heard of it.
Starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
All right. Well, I like her.
Mm-hmm. And I have a cocktail also we were going to have.
Excellent. What do I need to get?
Would you like to know what it's called first?
Sure.
It's called the Purple Hooter Shooter.
Now you're just picking shit that you like without even trying.
No, I'm not. There is a real tie-in to the film.
Okay.
We're going to need vodka.
All right.
Raspberry liqueur.
Raspberry liqueur.
Yes.
Is that like schnapps or something?
It can be, yeah.
Okay.
But there are some brand name raspberry liqueurs like Chambord, Chambord, Chambord. That is the raspberry liqueur, but I have, others like razzmatazz, decoopered razzmatazz and whatever. Yeah, raspberry liqueur. We're going to need lime juice from the plastic lime, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Wait, so it's all liquor again.
Except for lime juice. Vodka, raspberry liqueur, and lime juice.
You never learn.
I just try to find these drinks, and that's what they are. I don't know. I didn't make them, didn't invent them. So there it is. Purple Hooter Shooter for Terror Train.
Okay.
It'll all make sense in a week.
I hope so.
All right, Karen, anyone you need to thank?
Well, I can thank my niece Sam for coming up with that excellent wish for our wafer exchange. That's what I'm going to go with. See if she listens. I'll find out.
No bare breasts again, Karen.
Well, you need to apologize to Courtney and Jeremy then.
I'm sorry, Courtney and Jeremy. I'll try to do better in the future.
Does the next one have bare breasts?
Ooh, I don't know. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis. That it's
got
possible.
Possibility.
There might be.
And it's 1980. So
yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed. I will anyway.
Well, you and Courtney and Jeremy.
And I need to once again thank the band Verse 13 for letting us use their music in the podcast.
Yes, it definitely makes the podcast better. We need all the help we can get.
I was thinking that, but I wasn't going to say it, Karen.
Well, I'm mad at you. I can say whatever I want. Since we're being brutally honest in this podcast.
Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Well, we should say Merry Christmas.
Yes, we
Karen.
should. All of us here at the Scary Spirits podcast want to take the time to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Karen.
Thank you. And a Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Well, thank you. Anything else?
Especially during the holidays, please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. Want to keep in touch? Check out our website, scaryspirits.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Find us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. To help us grow the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You know, we really do appreciate your support. And as always, please drink responsibly.